Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Ski Doo Skandic LE. This thing is unlike anything else in the store here. I'm filming it up on the stage in the showroom here at Extreme Torque Motorsports, and I'm also wearing the perfect Christmas gift. So if you're watching this right now and somebody's asking you what they should get you for Christmas, how about some clothing, some merch? You got Extreme Torque Motorsports shirts. There's also all kinds of Ski Doo stuff, Can-Am stuff, anything BRP that you want to get a shirt for Christmas. Make sure you stop by one of their 3 locations in New Brunswick, because if you can't get this for Christmas, you might as well throw the hint out all year long with something like this. So in this review, we're going to talk about this unit. We're going to go in depth and show you a number of things the other videos aren't showing you, to show you what's different about this and what might make it perfect for you. So let's get going with this review. So before we go too deep into this unit, let's just tell you what it is. This is a working unit. Now, it can be used for all kinds of fun, but it's really designed from the ground up, and I literally mean from the ground up, to be unique and do different things better than any other sled you have around you. So I'm going to show you the front end up close while comparing it to every other sled in the showroom here. But I also want to move back. And the one thing that Can-Am does really, really well is they look at all the details. There's so many manufacturers, and when it comes to ATVs, side-by-sides, or even snowmobiles, that just kind of throw the pieces on there so visually it looks like it does one thing or the other. You see the same thing in the SUV market, right? You get all these regular crossovers thrown on with a little bit more sidewall on the tire, and all of a sudden it's the off-road version. Well, that's not the way Ski Doo does stuff. BRP is really intentional. When they make something that's different, they design it from the ground up different, and they do different things that make it better for you, the user. And that's really what you're looking for. If you're buying something for a specific purpose, you want something that doesn't just look like it does the job, you want something that's built from the ground up to do the job. So let's start out front by taking a look at all the unique pieces right down here, and this is the biggest piece you're going to notice once you get there. So when you take a look at the front of the sled, you see this winch up here. We're going to show you that in a second, but I want you to look lower and underneath, and what you have is something completely different down here. This suspension looks a lot more like a motorcycle fork than a typical snowmobile, side-by-side, ATV, or anything else. There's literally absolutely nothing in the middle. So of course that means you're going to get stuck on less things. It allows this belly pan here to be part of the sled. So if you're into deep snow, into ungroomed trails, into areas where you've got to get somewhere no matter what, search and rescue type stuff, anything you need, this is going to be a flat belly pan that allows you to be part of the sled with no suspension in the way, nothing else. So you have a little bit less sporting capability compared to something like a top end snowmobile. But what you do have is something that's really set up, purpose built to be good at doing what it does, and that's more of a working type sled. So speaking of working sled, let's take a look at this winch. There's a couple cool things to show you about that. So taking a look at this winch, obviously this gives you a whole bunch of capabilities, especially if you're going off trail and you're going to be, making your own trail and making your own areas. And this unit is perfect for getting you there, right? It's not going to get stuck on as many things, but you may or may not always want a winch on there. And you can see right over here, that is a pin right there. That pin can be removed, and this entire thing comes off just like a hitch receiver, and you can remove the winch if you want. So really cool, simple system there to take it on, take it off, and that's why it's sort of out in front, sort of look like an add-on accessory rather than a built-in, because you may or you may not want it. Now the other thing that's really cool about this sled, the entire way through it's got extra protection around. So you see a lot of sleds with this kind of standard styling type protection, and that's all nice and strong, but down below it and above, you've got strong steel bars protecting you a whole lot of ways around this sled. So we're going to show you those as we work our way around, but something to notice here is you've got a lot of protection. What that means is if you're sitting there in treed areas, lots of roots, lots of other stuff on the ground, maybe it's got swampy areas, this sled will go over it. It's made to do that, but it also is going to protect you from all those things and protect the sled from all the different kinds of debris that can be around when you're not on the main trails. Over here, we should take a look at the headlights. They are the halogen style headlights. This is a brand new 2025 sled. Now, halogen sled lights, of course, are better at melting the snow than the LED lights, so you do have some snow melting ability there, and you have a very tall windshield, which we will show you as we get into the riding position and that kind of thing. Let me jump over, work our way back on this sled before we get to that riding position, though. There's a few more things to show you. So we're just wide angle for a second to show you where we are. We're on the running board right here on the right side of the sled. We're going to zoom into the normal side, and actually we'll zoom in one more here, and you can see that all of the big areas here that are normally open that would allow you to clear out the snow, they're actually filled in with a plate on the bottom. And again, that contributes to that ability to just float over that snow. Maybe you're into those areas where the trail doesn't exist anymore and you can just float over it. So not only the belly pan underneath, right up to the rider's footwell area is all set up to float over that snow. You've also got a sort of rear rider's foot peg there. You can sort of see that. And of course, this is a 2-passenger unit with luggage and cargo storage out on the back, again, with those big rails there. We're going to talk about some of the functionality of this in a second, but first I want to show you underneath that passenger seat. So in a minute here, I'll show you what it looks like for me to sit on this seat so you get a sense of the sizing of it. It's a pretty good sized seat, very comfortable here, but it also has a few tricks up its sleeve. You've got your hand grips there, and there's a little warning label down there. That warning label says, hey, make sure this thing is done up, because you can pop this warning label up. It wasn't done up there because I had it open earlier. And then you have a little storage container right here. Now let's try to open that up for a second here. Pull that there, pull it open like that. And hopefully it stays up there on the angle that I'm looking at. And what you see in here as we come up a little bit is a nice large storage container, which I'm going to zoom into a little bit and show you a couple cool things that we've got in here. So first of all, over there, you want to control your winch, you can do that right here. So you can do it from here. But maybe you didn't notice on the front of the winch, there's actually a plug on the side of the winch. You can take that extension cord, you can bring that winch holder to the front, and you can pull this thing up or use the winch while standing beside it at the front. So if you're out there solo in a area where you haven't got a lot of help with you, you can do all the things you need to do by yourself, and of course with one other person, because you can take another person out there. So kind of nice storage area there, but they've also got, they've also got that winch stuff in there. So this you want to slam down. It does clip if you slam it down. If you just set it down gently, it's not going to be locked. You want to make sure that's locked so that your passenger stays secure. Let's show you what it looks like to sit on here before we move around the back, show you a couple of cool features there. And there's a number of features that allow this thing to back up. I want to show you that in just one second. So jumping on this thing, the one thing I love about anything from Can-Am, BRP, Ski Doo, they all have really comfortable seats. So this one's a little firmer than some, but I feel like it's sort of like a work firm. It's also a little bit wider down here. It's not designed to be the most narrow sport unit, but it's still very, quite narrow overall and comfortable. Now you have a different shape here than you have on some of your sport units. This is all about keeping you protected from all the elements. And so is the windshield. The windshield comes really wide. Again, we'll bring you in and show you this a little bit later. You've got mirrors out here as well to give you a little bit of perspective of what's behind you. Again, if you're out there maybe with a group of these, maybe you buy this for commercial reasons and there's a bunch of you out there, you want to keep an eye on what's going around you. So great protection from everything out front, great protection down here. Whether you're standing or sitting, you've got an adjustable situation here. We're going to show you some unique things with the throttle here as well as we bring you in. But first, I want to talk about going backwards on this sled, because if you're going out there in the wilderness and sort of the unfinished, ungroomed trails, you want to be able to get around, and you may have to back up. And of course, this thing has a reverse gear. It's also got a high and low gear. We'll show you that in a second. But let me show you a couple of unique things to help you get backwards all on your own with this thing. So as we take a look at the skis here, I want to show you just sort of a regular standard sled over here, kind of a little bit of a lip up there to allow you to go backwards, but you have a much bigger lip here just to help you go backwards. So of course that's important on the front side, but there's also a few other things that help you get back. Let's show you the back side of what you've got going on that makes it really simple. So taking a look at the back of the track here, this is such a simple thing, but people forget it here. You can leave this locked up like that. You can lock it down like this, and there's a pin on the other side to do that. So when you lock it down, of course, going forward, if you're towing something or whatever it is that you're doing, you can leave it locked down, give you full traction. But if you want to go around corners, you've got a lot of corners to deal with, you can leave it locked up like that. Or if you're backing up, you can lock it up to give you a little bit of traction to bite in the snow and pull back. If you can't get back, even with those skis designed to go back, and if with the track designed to go back, there is another hitch on the back, and of course that winch can be moved front to rear, and you can pull yourself around that way as well. So moving up from the track, you can see that rear hitch there. We can sort of zoom in a little bit if you want to see. There's that hitch mounted here. And of course, that's the same system here that you have the winch on the front. So you've got options. The other thing you've got options for over here, let's go back to the standard angle rather than zoomed in. You have a massive area here with a rail around here and all sorts of link attachment points. So the link, of course, LINQ system is something used by almost every BRP product, whether it's boats, whether it's Sea-Doos, snowmobiles, ATVs, side-by-sides, whatever you name it. Can-Am overall, BRP overall, Ski Doo overall is a massive accessories company, and they have all kinds of ways to mount proper accessories. So instead of just strapping random things in here, you can get specific boxes, specific carrying cases to carry everything you need, all properly latched and locked in, easily removable, and of course that all fits behind the rear seat there. So one thing I didn't show you was the rear seat comfort. I probably should have shown that. Maybe we'll quickly do that in a second. And then We're going to take you into the dash area and show you a few other things that make this unique, including talking about some of the way this thing works to make it really practical if you're out on your own in the wilderness. So jumping on here, we already showed you sort of the front passenger area, and if you can see comfortably, I can sit here, I can sit all the way back there, arms stretched out, and of course, if you have a rear passenger, they are nowhere near. Remember, I was comfortably sitting here, so there's lots of space. You're not like on a sport bike, motorcycle together, hugging each other. You're very comfortable. You've got a little bit of a backrest here, which is going to keep you in place. It's kind of just a lower back area, but it's going to keep you solidly in place. Good hand grips down here as well. So you really have a spacious seat around here. If you're two bigger guys than me, no problem. But if you want the sled to cuddle? Well, it's gonna be a little harder to cuddle. There's a lot of space on here. All right, let's bring you in now and show you what we've got up front here. All right, so back to wide angle, let's take a look at what you've got going on here in the dash. And there's a lot of cool little things. Again, this isn't like super high tech, but there's a lot of unique features in here. So again, wide angle view is the closest I can give you to what it looks like to ride this. You can see here, this is just about nose to mouth height on me as a 6-footer, proportional 6-footer. So quite a tall windshield, but the other thing is not just tall, but quite wide. So you don't even have, you know, hand protection over here, but almost the windshield and the mirrors are gonna give you some of that. So you do have some nice capability there. We'll just zoom in for a little bit here to the standard view. There's your dash there. We're going to show you that in just a second here. There is a little bit of, actually there's no airflow coming through there. So that's, sorry, I thought that was an open area there, but that's all protected there, sealed from snow. Now let's show you right over here. You do have a 12-volt port in there into this little spot here. So you can put your phone, you can put extra things in there. Oops, I zoomed in a little too far because my watch is my viewfinder, and if it gets touched, it zooms in. So again, little spot there where you can put your 12-volt whatever's 12-volt powered, and have your phone there. Now over here you have a lot of adjustment. So again, what I like about this is you can adjust it by tools and you know exactly where it left off. Hard to show you, let me just zoom in all the way. See a little arrow there, so you know exactly where that arrow is on anything here that has an adjustment type number here. So you've got that over here, you've got that over here in the center, and of course there's a lot of height there, so you can bring that wherever you need. So that makes it easy to stand. Basic controls over here, you've got heated grips, heated throttle. We're gonna show you that throttle in a second here. Typical Ski Doo stuff. But over here is something that's pretty cool. So this is that throttle. So this is not loose. Like when I say not loose, it's not loose by accident. It's loose on purpose. Now I've only got my right hand on the camera, so you gotta use left hand. But of course that's your traditional thumb throttle. You can put it whatever angle you want. If you're winching from the front and you wanna just be able to reach that throttle, you can reach it from there. Or if you wanna use your trigger fingers, you can move it around. Again, heated throttle, moves around where you need it. So again, you can keep it in the standard position here. And of course, if you're getting on or off the machine when it's running, you can kind of put it out of the way so you're not tapping it as you do that. Down here, you do have a couple drive modes here. So there's a sport and an eco mode. Let's just zoom in a little bit further there. So you can see that sort of sport mode and that eco mode. You can just toggle that switch up or down. Nice and easy to use switches even with gloves here. And then you've got your standard sort of typical key here. So this is that well-known Can-Am key. They use this on everything. So even if you get like a Riker 3-wheel motorcycle type thing, you can still have a key like that. And I believe they can be programmed to work on multiple vehicles. This gas cap's a little sideways, but you can see this is capable of running on 87 octane. To me, that's one of the benefits of this. If you have a desire to have this as a 2-stroke, you can make it a 2-stroke. If you want to have a 4-stroke, there's 4 strokes, and there's various engines in it. This is the 600 ACE engine, so it's the twin cylinder 600cc 4-stroke engine, you know, not a 2-stroke. And again, capable of running on 87 octane. So if you're out there in the wilderness and you've got, you know, poor quality fuel, no problem. You can run with the, or lower octane fuel, you can do that. All right, let's just tap the start button here just to glance at the dash here. Let's zoom right in there. It's in sport mode right now. You've got various things. So up top on the, where the clock is there, we can cycle through. I'm trying to keep the camera framed here, so you can go your trip odometer, trip A, sort of overall odometer, trip A, trip B, and then your hour meter there. So you've got that, left side fuel, right side temperature, and then you can cycle through the bottom, all sorts of different things. So it's, oops, just gotta turn it back on there for a second. So if you're in sport mode right now, which we know, you can change it to, there's your kilometers an hour, and then RPM up top, speed stats, fuel stats, engine temperature, settings, and that kind of thing. So when this is RPM, it's RPM down here. You can swap those as well. So you can have the RPM up here and the speed down there, depending on what you want. Sport mode's always illuminated if you want that. We can put it into eco mode there, sport mode off, right? So there's lots of options to do what you want in that simple dash. But again, that's what you're looking for, something simple, something durable. One more thing I want to show you here. It's a little hard to film. It's easy to see from the driver's area because I have two eyes. You guys only have one eye with the camera, but high, neutral, and low. So you have the reverse gear on here, which is the same as having the low gear, but in reverse. But you do have a high gear and a low gear. So a lot like ATV or something like a Jeep, you can get low range gearing. So again, a utility unit going to get you wherever you need to go. You don't need a hugely powerful engine. You just need great gearing to get you where you need to go, and that's what this has. So who is this unit for? Well, obviously this isn't the sportiest unit out there. It hasn't got the best, control from keeping level in the corners, and you're not gonna be driving this down the trail as as fast as you can go anywhere. But this is kind of like the pickup truck of sleds, but it really is done well. It takes a second person with room with this person. You've got that protection around the body. You've got that unique ski stance. It's nice and wide, unique skis that can help you back up, unique track that can help you back up, but also complete lack of A-arms, steering arms, anything else that you would have underneath the sled. So it's designed to have the belly of the sled hit the snow, ride the snow, and push through no matter what. It's a really, really versatile sled that also keeps you very well weather protected, nice and warm with the heated grips, heated throttle, the ability to move that throttle around where you need it, the ability to have a winch on the front, on the back, have remote control of it. It really is something that's versatile. So obviously it's going to appeal to corporations, to governments, to that kind of thing, but it can also be something that's really great if you're leading a group somewhere. Maybe you have a group where you lead rides different places. You got to take extra gear. You got to take an extra person. You got to go some places and check out a trail that maybe isn't completed, and you just want to get on the snow no matter what, in any condition. This thing's going to be awesome for that. And it's the details that matter. Like I said, the Ski Doo brand overall, the BRP, when they're looking at making something that does something specific, they really do engineer it from the ground up to do something well, and that's what this has done. So if you want something that's really well engineered to do everything, and you're gonna be doing some work while you're doing that, this is a perfect sled. So let me know in the comments what you think, and remember, Christmas time, you're looking for something to pick up that maybe is a little less expensive than this, but something to remind others in your life that this kind of thing matters to you. Make sure you swing by Extreme Torque Motorsports this Christmas. They're filming this, what is it, the 15th, 16th, right before Christmas. And again, shirts like this you can buy. There's also all kinds of branded shirts, all kinds of hats, helmets, gloves, all kinds of stuff. Just even get a gift card. I'm sure they have gift cards for all this kind of stuff. So make sure you swing by. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays. And I still got more videos coming before Christmas, so we'll talk to you in the next one.